We're having some technical difficulties. Always happens at the worst possible time. Oh, now it looks like it's going back down again. What is happening? Oh, on the other cam. Okay. Glad you guys know what's going on. Okay, well there we go. We're live on the other camera. We didn't know about that. So, you can see that I was having some trouble with the technical difficulties, and I thought that I was broadcasting, but I actually wasn't. So you missed the first part. It was really good. But this is our new cat. She's quite large. She sort of like has slipped off my lap a little bit, but she's been behaving herself really well. We got a call that there was a cat out there that we needed to trap. So I was just about to clean her ears. So hold on a second. I haven't gotten a very good look at her yet. She's so ferocious. Oh, her ears don't look too bad. That's good. Just do a little bit of cleaning. She's a very beautiful color. I've never seen this color in our colony cats before. I'll see if I can show you her tail. Oh God, I can't do it. Oh. Oh no, the video's frozen.
Unplug it back in.
Technology has
Frozen, missed it. There are technical difficulties. Let it go, let it
1500.
go. They called us Sarah.
Hey, we're back. Oh, sorry, you guys. We've been planning this for so long, and then the computers. Here, come back. This is what I was gonna do. I was gonna pull her ponytail out and be like, look at the beautiful coloring of this cat. She's so unusual. And then I was gonna be like, ow, she bit me. And then
I was gonna say sorry.
So.
But then she cracked up.
But then I couldn't do it. I couldn't go through with it. So sorry everyone. We pranked you. Well, we tried.
The fail
The
was
first
better.
half was amazing. The second half was not as good.
They said that the failure was better than the prank itself.
Oh, I was trying so hard not to, but I was Q-tipping her head. So let's see, okay, we're all on. So if anyone doesn't know, this is John and Sarah. I'm sure you all know. Foster dad John, Sarah's from the Kitten Cuddle Room. But Sarah came out to go to the Black Cat Ball with John, and then they both came up here so that we could prank you guys. We didn't quite know how we were going to do it, but we knew it was, first we were going to have John like actually go into the drop trap, and then Sarah and I were in the starfish. but it didn't. It was too.
It was a little muddy and
It was muddy, and the drop trap's 3x3, but it's.
I wouldn't fit.
I know. Ah.
And I did a YouTube search for angry cat sounds, and
Yeah, so John was back there trying to play growling noises and stuff, but then I couldn't figure out why the camera wasn't going live. I still don't know why. I don't know if the Hyatt cam is up or down right now, or what. But, so that was totally it. So good.
I was doing so well under the blanket.
She was perfect. Just silent and totally zen.
I was.
you were gonna.
She didn't even giggle when I was Q-tipping her head.
Yeah, she was gonna say, you know how some cats will like freeze up and.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it was so funny. And I tried to hide that I was laughing, but it did not at all work. So, sorry everyone. There's no intake today. They want a reenactment. Yeah, we got pranked on our prank. Sarah's ears are very clean.
I don't need to be spayed yet.
We were trying to debate how many people were gonna figure it out, and then how many people were not going to, like, because all of her mods knew immediately when we posted the video. They knew that it was. Oh yeah, the Hyatt cam is down. Oh here, I'll put Hyatt back up so that someone can watch legitimate cats. Yeah, we caught Sarah. So Sarah was behind the drop trap, like making herself very small,
Trying to.
on a tarp on like a lid of a Rubbermaid container, and she shook the trap when I pulled the string to make
And I
it.
hissed.
She hissed. She did a tight. Do it again. Do what you did. Like we froze again. We froze again. I don't know. Let's count. There we go. Sorry, I don't know. Recurring technical difficulties. So, anyway, so that's fun.
We have to have a laugh here or there periodically because there's a lot of seriousness in rescue. And
Yeah.
John and I try to bring the fun with us when we visit Shelley.
They brought the fun and the sun for a few minutes.
I'm not saying that there's no fun here.
There's no fun here.
Okay, then we are saying.
There's a lot of poop.
Yep, a lot of poop. So John has some adorable fosters right now that are like little floofy, adorable kittens. And Sarah's got some awesome fosters that she's been like long-term slogging through the...
Yes, if you're in Los Angeles and you would like an asthmatic, adorable cat, and
Lap
her
cat.
best friend, who is a lap cat,
So cute.
Coral and Nala are looking for forever home together.
Sarah's been like advocating for them and getting them the best medical care and attending to Nala like 24/7.
If you do a YouTube search for kitten cuddle room or just kitten cud, you'll find her cam.
God. Yeah, they're adorable. Nala has had pneumonia numerous times and she has asthma. So she needs an inhaler treatment twice a day. So whoever adopts her just has to be able to do the inhaler.
The black cat ball was successful. We saw a lot of the auction items go for a lot higher than they have last year, like the different
that's
pages on the
good.
calendar.
That's good.
Nobody hates us that I see. You pranked
I know
us.
we were a little worried that we were going to get in trouble by crying wolf on the the fake intake. Now next time no one's going to believe me.
Yeah, we had the camera set up so that Sarah's legs could be behind Shelley. So
It was very elaborate.
But we decided that in order to make it up to everybody, we would do Q&A and that I would ask Shelley and John questions that the chatters always want to ask but never get the chance to ask, and I'll get answers out of them. For you guys.
Probing questions.
Probing questions.
Sorry, mods.
Yep, sorry, Alex.
Do I really wear overalls most of the time? When I'm on cam, yes, and when I'm around my fosters, yes. Because they're comfy, easy, and
No.
Fashion forward.
easy to wash, and I can put kittens in them.
And you can bend over without revealing
Yes.
too much,
No plumber's crack.
which is a problem always.
It protects all those
Areas.
areas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm like screwing around. It's like, okay, I can bend down this way.
Overalls and a tiara.
I do
yes.
wear a tiara only when I do story time usually. I have a number of chatters who are amazing writers and they write stories about my kittens. And so it's only appropriate that when I read those stories, I put my tiara on.
A lot of the online donations is $2,645. That's the kitten camp, the kitten camp fundraiser. So
Oh, for Black Cat Ball?
Oh,
up to over
wow.
2,600.
That is great. That will go to Perfect Pals for fosters and other cats. That's where John gets his cats from.
Fund in need.
That's awesome. They want you to adopt Princess Consuela.
I don't have any space. I have Nala and Coral in my bedroom right now. And I haven't been able to get new kittens because I still have Nala and Coral. So we need to get them a forever home and then I can get more kittens.
Mm-hmm. That's always a problem with fostering. And then the older they get, the harder, and then the more bonded you get, it's horrible.
It's very hard. But
So someone help her out and
Yeah,
adopt.
Yes,
she's
please.
not the old cat cuddle room. She's the kitten cuddle
Yeah.
room.
Yes. They're amazing and they've got so much personality and Nala
Only a
is
year.
like a forever kitten. She's tiny and she's not going to grow anymore.
She's like Aura with like early health problems, but now they've got it sort of figured out, and
Yes.
And she's still pretty young. She's only a year, I believe.
She just turned a year and Coral is just a month older than she is.
perfect age.
And they love each other.
The advantage of adopting an older cat is that with kittens, their personalities are still in flux. And it's like I adopted my cat Tabby. He was a cuddly kitten, and then I did not see him for 8 years. He became a ghost cat.
Mm-hmm.
They won't do that. And we got to meet Aura. I got to meet Aura. I think you'd met Aura before, hadn't you?
Mhm.
I didn't get to
And
kiss her.
Mason. Oh yeah.
And Mason. Oh my God, they're so cute, you guys. Aura is tiny, but she's so healthy and she's so like soft and just
Velvety.
amazing.
She feels a lot like Nakia.
John adopted Beatrice and Nakia
Nakia.
and we actually saw Ramona
Mhm.
today when we were doing shenanigans in the forest. We saw Ramona and all the others, Gallico and Horizon, and Corden was there, and Cisco, Sabina, everybody was there, the whole gang.
Somebody asked, what is the situation like for feral community cats in Los Angeles? They've heard there's an overpopulation problem and it's bad. Yes, it is bad. We have a lot of rescuers in the rescue that I foster for that do TNR. It's an uphill battle, but very much like what Shelley does. There are committed people all around the city who go out and try to find homes for the ferals that can be adopted, and for those that can't, they are, neutered and spayed and released, and then monitored. There's been improvements because there's better communication between the rescues and the city, but LA is a very difficult place to find adopters. I have a really hard time finding adopters. I don't know why, but maybe they're more dog people, but it's really, really difficult, and there's a lot of rescues there, and there's a lot of cats. But even with that, we're still working to become no-kill, and we're getting closer and closer every year, so that's been a success.
It's hard though, like it's easy for us because we get a break from kitten season, and like they've always got
Year round.
Yeah.
year round, and there's always like a time limit, and so
Yeah, right now all of the rescues are packed with kittens still.
and we didn't see any pregnant cats at the forest today, which is good. We need to do another round of TNR, which we constantly have to do out there, but
You guys, the feral kitties of the forest are so beautiful, and they're so well fed, and I got to see their little layout, and it's so just perfect. They've done Shelly and her crew have done an amazing job out there.
There's little kitty forts and
They're pretty happy.
a huge covered area. No matter how bad it comes down, they have a covered area that keeps their food dry and fresh water.
Mm-hmm.
There was like I was sitting there and while we were lining up in the shot, there was like a nice little bromance going on. One of them was eating the kibbles, and there was a line of ferals.
They're pretty adorable.
And they're gorgeous.
Yep. And I caught the cutest one.
Well, the floofy one.
The floofiest one. Look at this.
Somebody wants to know
glorious
how your conference was.
Oh, it was very good. It was good. It was yeah, it was good. With Peter Wolf was there from Best Friends, so it was really interesting hearing him talk about community cats. And all the speakers were good. So we had Lori from Downtown Dog Rescue in LA. Have you heard of them?
Which one?
Downtown Dog Rescue. They like go and help homeless and like on Skid Row. They provide vet care. So she's like,
That's amazing.
yeah, she's like
It locked up again.
Oh,
At least it locked up when you had great posture going. There we go.
oh. This camera probably has been bleached one too many times. This part.
I know we're missing some questions. We'll do our best. I have some in mind that I will ask them.
The bromance was Gallico and Horizon, yes.
Yeah, we got to see that.
That was awesome.
I'll post a video, a very adorable video of them.
And when you watch that video, you can think of those being the Kia fans. That's how they act.
So cute.
I was the kitty.
Yeah. She was the kitty. I did the sound. I was the sound guy with the growling and the hissing. Hopefully that picked up.
And he did the camera tip over in the forest too. He was videoing that and orchestrated it so it looked like the camera tipped over.
That was my crowning moment.
It was a masterpiece.
I expect an Oscar.
Somebody-
Special effects.
Somebody's asking, any research being done on a faster permanent birth control for felines? As long as it's surgery, I don't see how the population can be controlled.
That's a good question. We've done lots of research into what research is being done because we're always looking for better ways to do things, but there is no effective birth control yet for cats. Although there are a few things that they have tried, like something you can put in the food or something you can inject. That would be birth control. But that does not address some of the nuisance behavior that you get with intact cats. So like the fighting and the peeing, the marking of the territory and stuff like that would continue even if there was an effective way to have birth control. So plus also the cancer risk, etc., with leaving them intact. So as far as what I've been following, there's nothing that's available. I don't know if you guys have heard anything different.
I have not. Nothing that they feel is good enough to push for.
Yeah.
Shelly talks as quickly as I do. I feel so much better now.
I know. I have mod guilt all the time.
So do I. We
I'm
love
just
our
like-
CCers.
I'm mentally picturing like a little fan on Alex's keyboard.
I know. So sad.
They keep asking about Aura.
Aura, I know. We should be upstairs. We should relocate upstairs because then we can have the
put a
cats.
camera.
Okay, let's go up. We're gonna go upstairs. You
The DNA
guys,
project is underway again.
yep, stand by. I'll switch the camera this time, and then it will actually work maybe, and then we'll have cats. You did get the whole thing on that.
Yeah. Yep. Including the breakdown.
The breakdown. Go live.
Did you press the red button on mine?
Yes.
Okay.
Now we're live.
I don't know.
There's sound. Now you should be able to.
Fake Cassidy.
The puff is not going to come out.
Yeah, hi Denise. Denise is in chat. She's my helper. She's like my Gwen.
These big buns.
Hi, Denise.
And she's gotten to experience the year-round kitten season with me and Kitten Rescue. It's okay, Mason.
Look at all these cats. This cat needs a home too. Oh, don't smooch her. She's so cute. I'll be back. Macy.
Oh, Mason.
Maybe
Scary man, John.
he's not so used to that. Look, but look, this is fun. Who doesn't like the butterfly?
My pants.
Oh, hi Brenda. I haven't seen you in a while. I can't say hi to everybody like I usually do on my cam, so hi to all my regular followers, and hi to everybody who doesn't know who I am.
Are we, let's see. Oh yeah, you can sort of see the butterfly. Mason's observing from behind the camera now.
Oh, Mason. You're so cute.
This is very soggy. They were having fun with the catnip earlier.
La bunny. La bum bun. Come here, Bartlett.
Violet's got things to sniff.
Hi, guys.
We should do this more often. We should prank everyone more often. But maybe John should handle technology. I don't know what happened. I was just broadcasting down there the other day.
Yeah, Sarah met my guys and my kittens, and she was like, "Look at the setup."
There's so much. He's got the coolest little boxes, the computer boxes.
Oh yeah,
The nuts.
And then he has a board that he can switch between everything.
that's fancy. I've got
It's so
I got
fancy.
tuna cans and
I know.
Yeah.
I've got everything duct taped to the wall, and then my monster computer that's 5,000 years old now.
I got the little stream deck, so I can just push a button, change scenes,
That's
and mute the
fancy.
cam, and have a switch box that takes 4 HDMI outputs and put them on one monitor. I
Oh,
see what all the cams are
that is amazing. And you have a multicam on the. I haven't done any of that stuff yet.
doing. It's a pain in the butt.
Yeah, that's why I haven't done it.
It's easy when you get one cam, because if you have to fart, you just mute one.
You guys, I'm touching Aura. I get to.
I have to
Oh,
step out
God.
now.
You never know if anyone's listening.
Yeah, so for those of you that don't know, we all got to know each other through having our cams. And I know sometimes people can be like, I only watch this cam, or, they think there may be competition between us. But I have found that I have a huge respect for other kitten cam fosters. And I personally could not continue doing what I do without my regular cam followers, and I couldn't do it without John and Shelley.
We do share, we have lots of ups and downs.
Yes, when we're fragile mentally,
Yeah.
and emotionally, we help each other get through it in a way that I think, we wouldn't be able to.
Yeah. We get through it the way, however we need to get through it, but we all understand, what we're going through when we have horrible things happen, and so it's very nice to be able to say something and not have to worry about, how people are going to interpret it, and, if someone's going to be offended, or, whatever, we just are like,
Well, and poop pictures. We send a
Lots
lots
of
of gross poop and worm pictures, and
yeah.
but there's fostering, and then there's kitten cam fostering, and it's a whole world that I don't think any of us realized was
No.
gonna be
Yeah.
what
That
it
is true. That's
So
very
I know
true.
I'm grateful. I am so grateful for them.
Yes, it's very nice to have other people who understand We were wearing those earlier today. Someone made these like soft cones. That's perfect. Made like soft cones, one for Aura and one for Celia for in case they needed cones after surgery, so they would have more comfortable cones, which was very sweet. And also this mouse, which was very popular. But I tried, and then everyone's been requesting that Princess Consuela wear like a collar so people can tell her apart from the other tuxies. So I was trying. They were really excited about them because they smell like catnip. So I had them wearing them earlier, but then they got bored. These two.
Oh my gosh.
These two, Aura and Princess Consuela, chase each other around the house constantly while Aura's supposed to be resting. So she's up for adopt. She needs a home. She's so sweet and she's so social. She's just like, she's so cute. Look at her. She's so cute.
Yeah, she didn't run and hide when we
So
got here.
playful.
She seemed very friendly, very sweet.
Great with
Nice
other cats.
people. She's still a kitten.
She's very kitteny.
very much still a kitten.
Keep on.
Yes.
And she's old enough that, this is her personality is not going to change. Not without trauma, so.
No trauma for you.
Yep. Yeah, it's like buzzing her butt. How rude.
Get it.
But we all love Shelly, and what she's done out here is amazing. I know that there are many of our followers who've been watching from the beginning, and some are newer. But if you didn't see, you probably still have footage up on live stream of when you first started.
Yeah, the early days. Ustream. We started on Ustream.
Oh my God.
You guys, I think, were all on live stream.
Live
and I was on
stream.
Yeah.
Ustream.
But we saw you. I think the cupcakes were the first litter that was on live stream, wasn't it?
I don't even remember.
Where you got bit by.
Yeah, bit in the butt.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, Shelly decided she was going to start doing ferals, and that's when John and I were like, we really like this woman, because she was going in with sticks stuck with pizza boxes duct taped to the end of the broomstick, and doing things that nobody else was trying to do, and she succeeded, and that to me is just amazing. What you've done out here is amazing.
We've learned a lot, that's for sure. I thought I knew, like, I understood what feral cats were, but everything I thought I knew was totally wrong. So it's cool. That's when you, like, test your assumptions and you find out how wrong you are, then you can.
Yeah. That's the best thing we could do is to ourselves is just be willing to accept that we are wrong. You can thank PC for that.
Oh, floor cam.
Yay.
And yes, shout.
Oh, shoot. And then I knocked it over, too.
That's a little blooper.
That's right. There we go.
Well, I think we all agree that one of the primary hopes that we all have with having the cams is to inspire and to educate. And I know that Shelly has inspired me, she's inspired John, and she's educating the world. We were just hanging out with another kitten cam foster, Claire from Kitten O'Clock, and she's in Australia. And Australia, TNR is illegal. And having people like Shelly do what she's doing and gathering the information, other fosters around the world can take that information and use it to change the laws in their own countries. And that, I'm hoping one day countries like Australia will allow for TNR.
That would be awesome.
Because all of our lovely rescuers out there doing it are breaking the law every time they do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they could picking up a cat, getting them fixed, and then putting them back in where they came from is considered abandonment, and they can't get arrested for it.
It's crazy.
Deborah Christensen said she started volunteering at a shelter because of watching him.
Aw, thank you. That's so nice.
And that's what I love, is when I hear somebody volunteers, if they foster, just getting involved in some way, or just, donating, like Tiny Kittens always needs donations.
And so do you guys. Well, Perfect Pals, and you take donations through your rescue.
I do have the Amazon wish list like everybody else, but I work with Kitten Rescue Los Angeles. John works with Perfect Pals. But we know that Shelly is trying to expand, and the hope was we might encourage some donations with our fun prank and visit.
You don't know how long it took for us to get her positioned in my lap. Like so, and like the angle so that like it sort of looks like.
I am now laid in Shelly's lap.
Yep, it was.
When you said this, like she kind of slipped off my lap here. I was
I know. Because I was not able to like be convincing while I was trying to fix the computer. It was a whole, and I didn't know if it was just the whole. It derailed. But I think it was okay in the end. We did get the whole thing on the auxiliary video, I think. So we'll see what that looks like.
I think we got some good laughs, and that was what the hope was.
I know I was laughing very hard.
Yeah, the whole time afterwards she posted, she was watching the chat just to see if the hints of somebody figuring it out.
No.
And somebody would drop a hint towards it being a prank, and then somebody was like, "No, it can't be a prank." And then it was like the back and forth was good to see.
It was funny.
Somebody said, Shelly, is there a way to check the application for PC? Someone said it won't let them fill it out.
You can email meow@tinykittens.com if you're having trouble with the application. Sometimes if you put too much text in like the different answers, it will throw an error, but it doesn't actually tell you there's an error because I coded it, so it works great 80% of the time.
Someone just said TNR is not illegal in Australia. That is not what we've been told. When you release the cat there after doing the TNR, you are there. It is considered abandonment of your pet.
As soon as you trap the cat, you are now the cat's owner. In essence.
We are getting some applications in. So anyway, you could if you're having trouble, send an email and we'll get it sorted out. Look how cute she is. Can you see her? You probably not.
If you send an email, put something like Princess the adoption application. That's what stands out.
Right, because we do get lots of emails, and as many of you know,
Put yourself on camera.
are not that good at answering them in a timely fashion. Come here on the camera.
Yeah, Shelly has sent us screen grabs before of her email count being like 3,000 of unread messages. So she's got a lot to look at sometimes.
It's 130,695 right now.
Oh, it really says 130,695 emails, unread emails, you guys.
That takes a while.
160,000.
It will take a while.
Yeah.
It will take but that's what we get. We have help. We have some help with that. So, we try to get to them.
ECC is asking if you think finding places to live in Metro Vancouver that allow pets is one of the causes making hard to adopt out cats.
Yeah, that's a huge problem here. That's a huge problem. Yep. There isn't a lot of pet-friendly housing.
Her eyes aren't crossed.
Whose eyes? Mine?
Aurora's.
You're not on cam. We should move it just a little over.
Yeah, here you go.
She's like, I don't want to be on cam.
I know.
We never want to be on our
There's
own
only
cams.
this much of me usually on camera.
My favorite is when I have little kittens and I can just have the camera
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Or when they're tiny and they're in the nest and it's just your hands and then you can
Yes.
wear your pajama pants all
It's
day.
amazing.
Yeah. That's
I
good.
don't know. I gotta get dressed every time. Take a shower before I go in. I gotta look prim and proper before I comb my hair, brush my teeth.
Amanda wants to know how much does Aura weigh right now, or has she gained since her surgery?
She has gained. Actually, I should weigh her. I haven't weighed her for a couple days, so I'm gonna weigh her right now.
So cute.
Yeah, I was here in July with the whole B and Nakia thing, and she was she's grown 2 months since then, but she was such a slender girl, and she's getting a little belly.
Yeah, for me, overalls are the the compromise between pajamas and jeans.
Yeah.
So I found that overalls. I also always change my clothes before I go into my foster rooms when they're small. So having overalls and a t-shirt hanging in the bathroom before I go in is kind of an easy.
And her palate is
Change out.
doing really well.
1.81.
1.81.
That's
She's gained,
amazing.
she was 1.47 kilograms the morning of her surgery, so that's a very substantial gain.
Aura looks perfectly healthy and shiny and beautiful, and I just remember when she was tiny with the little feeding tube, and
So
we
tiny.
didn't think she would make it, and this is because Shelly, right here.
It's what we all do for
Didn't-
them.
Didn't some vets recommend letting her go?
Yeah, it's hard. We were actually talking about this at the conference, that like when you don't know if you're making the right choice by not euthanizing them, and you know that like, at least Dr. F knows that like I will never euthanize one if there's a chance that we can alleviate suffering, and so, but you have to like figure out the line between like we're prolonging their life just for the sake of prolonging their life, or are we prolonging their life so that we can alleviate suffering ultimately? So that's why Dr. F was like, even knowing that I don't like to euthanize anyone unless there's no choice, then she was like, I don't know about this one. She's like, you're going to put in all this time and energy, and then it's not going to work out in 8 weeks from now. So anyway, so we talked about it, and I said, give me 24 hours, we'll see how she does. I was like, we need a win, because it has been a really rough couple of weeks with other kittens and everything, so. And then she did great with her 2 feedings, and I didn't feel like I was torturing her too much. And she was so feisty. Then it got easier after that, even though I knew that it was still touch and go for a long time. But now,
Aurora still has to. She still has a lot of healing to do before before Shelly can even think about putting her up for adoption.
that's right. So, the suspense.
The timer that was on the video, that was the critical window. She's still in a long window.
Yeah, we still have our next checkup's in 2 weeks, and
And then at that point, you'll know more about when she might be
yeah,
available for
and
adoption.
what we also need to know is what kind of ongoing medical care she'll need. So, because she does lack her nasal turbinates, which are the things that filter out the.
If I'm not the camera over.
I know, this is dicey. Yeah, so we don't know yet what her long-term needs will be, so it's impossible to select an appropriate home.
Which is very difficult. I've gone through that with Nala while they're in treatment. I would love to take applications, but it wasn't until we got through and knew what to prepare adopters for. You can't just say, well, we'll find out later. People need to know what they're getting into,
Yeah,
or we end up getting returns.
yeah, we want them to be successful.
Don't we? Little
Like I wanted to
pony?
adopt a cat, not a vet bill.
Yeah. Or like how are they going to react if the situation changes? And this has been expensive so far, so it could be expensive again.
We're hoping. I think. Just the trouble of getting PC adopted, and she's healthy,
Yeah, and she's healthy and social.
and she's just zooming across the kitchen
She's
right
so
now.
funny, and now Aura's going to chase her.
She's not great at eating spiders, though.
No.
She did smack it.
She was better than my cat, though. Oh, Mason's going to get involved now. They chase each other around the house all the time. It's really cute. There goes Aura, stalking Princess Consuela.
For the Beatrice and Nakia fans, I can't walk anywhere in my house without them leading me. They got to zoom in front of me. If I turn around, they'll zoom right back. And I'll be walking down the hallway and I hear the thudding and I just freeze so that I don't step on them or kick them on accident because they're like zooming past my legs.
Yes, Denise, exactly. The treatment for Nala is very easy, but the inhaler itself is not always cheap.
Yeah.
So whoever adopts Nala has to be prepared for the fact that they're going to have to buy an inhaler every couple of months.
Yeah, and probably.
Though I may try to drive out to another country to buy some inhalers beforehand for them.
I wonder if they're cheaper here.
Probably, but I would need a prescription here.
Oh, right.
And I would need to get a new one. But in Mexico, you don't need prescription.
Oh, interesting. And also probably you need like chest rads and stuff.
Yeah, before she gets, I've been putting off getting she's gotten x-rayed so many times but when we start getting if I get applications, which have to happen, then I will try to get updated x-rays right before so we know. And I've always promised that whoever adopts her in Coral, if Nala were to get sick again, I would do everything in my power to fundraise to help cover the expenses.
Yeah, that's all you can do. That's a pretty sweet deal, you guys. So to have 2 awesome kittens.
They're so cute.
So cute.
I mean, they're all cute, but
so cute.
Yeah, LA Kitten Rescue doesn't have a permanent foster situation, do they?
I'm sorry?
Kitten Rescue doesn't have a permanent foster thing.
No, not for her situation. Kitten Rescue has a sanctuary for FELV positive kitties, and it's a small sanctuary, and for elderly cats that are difficult to adopt out or who are ill like Mason, but they can't keep a kitty like Nala just to give an asthma treatment.
Yeah.
And because sadly I want to keep her with Coral because they're so bonded.
Yeah.
That makes it even more difficult, and so I battle with feeling bad about trying to do that. But Nala was separated from her sister when she got pneumonia as a kitten and had been isolated for a really long time because she had been ill. So when she bonded with Coral, the idea of separating her makes me want to cry.
Yeah.
Because she finally got her BFF.
Oh, that's so sad.
I know.
We lost Nala. I mean, Aurora. That's right. Oh.
Yeah, and now Mason's gonna get involved. Oh, I touched you.
That little blue ball is now the biggest hit over there. Oh, here it comes.
Oh, that's exciting.
This is a great floor for them to play on.
Look, here it is. I was trying to move it into range.
It did.
Have we met Salia and Hyatt?
Nope. I thought about bringing Celia out. She's had the 2 centimeter by 1 centimeter ear polyp. Well, it wasn't in her ear anymore. It was in her throat.
We saw the picture.
Yeah, I sent.
How does she even swallow that?
I know. I felt so. She was clearly going downhill fast, but and we got the lab results back today, and it's not cancer, which is good. But they did find some like necrotic cells in there, so it was starting to die. Like the part that they removed, the ventral bulla osteotomy removed the part and I told you guys earlier that it just fell apart when the surgeon was in there because it was actually starting to die. So I know, and it must have been incredibly painful, and so it's quite a big deal to have it out, and definitely she would not have survived much longer. So yay for that. So she's still like got a long recovery ahead of her, but
Mason looks so good. He's got that belly.
I know, he's a little bit pudgy, which is good for a kitty cat.
Now, you're still feeding him with
twice a day?
syringe,
Yeah.
But you're getting enough in him just twice a day, because weren't you doing it more often than that for a while?
I was following him around and like trying to get him to eat on his own, which was I had to do like every hour throughout the day. I had to like try to offer him food, and it was very time consuming, and he didn't get enough calories that way.
That's so soggy. Like squeezing it.
Slobber. So now with the syringe feeding, he does really well with just twice a day, and then I don't have to like chase him around twice a day. I mean, more than twice a day. He has meds twice a day too, so we have our little routine, and he's pretty happy with it.
Look
and it's keeping him alive.
Tail.
I know, it's been broken so many times.
Oh.
He is so handsome.
He's very handsome. He likes the butterfly.
Now, I told Shelly that I was going to ask her some years ago when I met her. I asked her questions on video, and we were laughing so hard that the video came out horribly. So I thought everyone, I don't think she's ever said, have you said on your cam how you started fostering?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know.
Well, now you will. So, Shelly, how did you start fostering, and how long ago was it?
Oh, that was a long time ago. I think I've lost track of how long ago it was.
What year?
That's a good question. I'm trying to think what year it was. It was I guess in the early 2000s probably, right? Did I tell you what year it was? I'm sure it was.
You were in San Francisco, weren't you?
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
Yeah, I know.
The same thing.
It's like close.
I'm a little senile.
It was Philadelphia, and my friend at work kept getting. She was on the email list for the shelter there, and she kept getting the emails from the kill shelter that were like, if you don't take these kittens, they're gonna die. And so she just kept taking them in, and then was completely overwhelmed because it was like, how many? I think there were like somewhere between 12 and 20 kittens, and some of them were bottle feeders. And so we would like go, so I started helping her. So we'd go to her apartment like on our breaks on lunch and like after work and before work and stuff, and like try to feed them and clean them up. And but it was so many kittens in like such a tiny space. But she was just like, I mean, how can you, when you get that email that's like, these kittens are gonna die if you don't take them, she was just like, okay, I'll take them. So anyway, that was my first fostering experience. It was a long time ago.
And then after that, what made you continue? And did you continue from then on, or did you take?
It was
a break?
on and off because I moved around, and so it was, you know, there were some places where I wasn't really in a position to foster and stuff. So, but then when I moved here, I was volunteering at Laps, and then you guys probably all know the rest of that story, but ended up with tiny kittens and.
Well, I don't know. What made you decide to put a cam on? We were just asking ourselves this earlier, that what makes us that extra level crazy when we're like, I'm going to put a camera on 24/7.
It's a great idea.
In my home.
I know. I think I had been doing it with my own cats for like whenever I would go away, or like even just then going to work, like just to watch them, and it was so fascinating just to watch them sleep or like watch the empty room, be like, they're going to come in any minute now. And so I had been doing that for a long time, and then it was because my first foster litter at Laps took forever to get adopted, and I was like, I'm like, I can't, you know, it was horrible to like, yeah, you know.
That's what got me started too.
And then I was like, there's got to be a way for people to, and they were super shy, so like people getting to see them in their home environment is totally different than seeing them in the shelter.
And the adoption events, we do adoption events, and they're nightmares.
Yeah.
Mine do horribly at them.
Mine would not. No, I would hate sending. I would feel like traumatized sending them to a place where it's loud and there's people, and because I shelter them and don't like socialize them to that extent. Being a hermit.
We stay home with our fosters.
So have you had cats all your life?
Yeah. Yes, I have had cats. Oh, Big Ernie was the first one. I think actually there's a photo.
Big Ernie?
Big Ernie was my first love.
Aww.
I think he's on
That's like your cat love?
My first cat love.
Is he on your Tiny Kittens website?
He's on Tiny Tux. I think he's one of the first photos on Tiny Tuxies. I'm trying to find it. Oh, here we go. There, see, he was at the. I don't know if you can see that. He was at the. That's in the bathroom. Our shiny bamboo.
He was a giant ginger.
He was a Persian with an underbite, and so nobody there.
You have to show
nobody wanted him, and so he was there, and they were just gonna like nobody wanted him, and so my parents brought me, and they're like, you can pick any kitten you want, and so I was like, why is he all alone and nobody wants him, and he's so wonderful, and so he was my special. Look at my turtleneck that I was wearing. So yeah, he was my first kitten love.
Oh, he's so cute.
I know.
How long did he live?
18.
Wow. My first kitty lived to be 18 too, and I thought all cats would live that long.
Yeah.
It was very difficult when I found out they didn't.
Yeah, and we know a lot more now than I knew back then.
We fed my cat like Purina kitten chow every day,
Yeah.
and we're like, okay.
I didn't deworm him once. I don't think.
Flea meds, nothing.
Mm-mm.
Like nothing.
No.
They
Never cleaned his
survived.
ears.
And
Who knows
it's
what they
hard
look like.
it's hard to promote doing all of that when we've had cats that lived.
I
But they
know.
were rare examples.
Yeah, that's right.
So what made you decide once you started your cam to go from just mama cats and kids to forest? Because that was amazing. It just you suddenly were bringing branches and spiders into your
Slugs
basement.
and dirt.
She was sending us pictures of what she was bringing in and the mud and the dirt she was bringing in to make them feel at home. And we were just like, what are you doing?
It was hard to disinfect that.
Very hard to disinfect.
It was because there was no one else. Oh, so it was the first TNR project was very eye-opening for me because I am super like unrealistically idealistic and optimistic and think, oh yeah, we'll just go and do it, it'll be fine, whatever. And then showing up and there were like 20 pregnant cats, and we tried. Lax was really great about being willing to take in 5 of them and see how they did at the shelter, but they didn't do very well at the shelter, and so we were like, we can't do that anymore. And so then I was like, well, we can't just, our options were pregnant spay or just let them have kittens. And so I was like, nope, I don't like either of those options, so I'm going to figure out how to foster them in a way that is low stress and because there's tons of risk. Sometimes they will kill their babies if they're like super stressed, or they won't care for them, and you can't, if they're unhealthy, you can't treat them, and so we had to figure all that stuff out.
Well, and for some insider discussion, our emails during that period of time were, please, mama, don't eat your kittens.
Yeah.
That was over and over again. We were like, we're watching. Don't worry. If we see her start nibbling, we'll email you.
You go.
Is she eating a kitten?
Go take a nap. I'll keep an eye on her.
Is she grooming them or is she
Right.
trying to eat them?
I was terrified the whole time because that was what everyone told me. They're like,
Don't go in the room.
The horror stories about this is why we don't foster pregnant ferals, because they eat their kittens and it's horrible. And I was like, oh.
And not being able to help during the birth, like the
Yeah.
tetherball kitten.
Oh yeah. When the kitten comes out, but the placenta's still inside, and the mom's can't reach the kitten, and it's like bouncing around. Yeah, it's super traumatic.
But now,
For us.
so what made you decide? When did you say, okay, I don't need to be bringing in any big branches and spiders anymore? I can have them in a quiet environment that's clean, and they're not going to eat their kittens.
The nesting boxes were the big, like when the nesting cabinets with the doors that open, and then having the like trap door in the back that we could put down from outside the room, so that when the mom is naturally away from the nest, you can close the kittens in, and then you can access them, and then you don't have to stress anyone out that way. And it was so much better that now we don't even worry about it.
Where did you get those boxes?
The first one was just an old cabinet that I had in the basement, and cut a hole in with my Sawzall. And then figuring out the trapdoor thing, one of our volunteers' husbands, he built the shelters out at the feeding station, he like figured out a way to build like some tracks and then a plywood thing, and then for the first trapdoor. So we sort of, and now we've like sort of evolved since then, so it's like a little bit more sophisticated. But that concept was pivotal
That's amazing.
in making them feel safe.
And what made you decide, how did you come up with using the blankets on the intake? Because that is one of the most brilliant things, and it's such a simple concept, but I know so many people who work with ferals who never do that. And I used to do that with my cats to trip in their claws.
Yeah.
Because you cover them and it calms them.
Yeah.
But I never ever thought about doing that with ferals. But you also are less fearful than I am about getting bit and scratched.
I think it was because we were doing intakes, and we had to find out what their genders were, and there were a few times when we didn't know whether, like, we wanted to send them for spays, but we were like we didn't want to send them because back then everyone was getting sedated. Like we weren't, like, the vets weren't doing exams or ultrasounds like we do now. They would be sedated, and by the time they're sedated, then you've compromised any kittens. So then they have to do a pregnant spay. So we were trying to be able to feel if they were kittens, and no one was comfortable trying that. And so it was just like we had big gloves that was back.
The Kevlar gloves.
There were gloves, and I was like, well, let's just, we had there's a cat sandwich thing that sort of like has nets on both sides and sort of, but it's got holes so they can see out, so they're like, and you can't really feel anything, so it just made sense to try the blankets and the towels and stuff, and it worked. And we've gotten better with like cutting holes and stuff. It's all good now.
Yes, the cutting holes is brilliant, but how are you not afraid of cats biting you?
Hyatt's been the worst one with the biting because he will bite hard through, like, usually you can anticipate when they're going to strike, but he's just pretty much will bite anytime for any reason, even through the towel. So, but you can tell how they react, and once you get them wrapped and you sort of have like a little bit of pressure on them, then they calm down, but not always.
You should have seen Sarah though when she was trying on that towel. It's like if you seen Charlie Brown Christmas with Charlie Brown's costume with the sheet with all the holes, that's what she looked like.
I had to have a breathing hole.
Yeah, we didn't want her to get too hot under there.
When did snout awareness become a thing?
Probably like the 20th time I got bit. They're really good at like rolling in there. Some of that, like Stashy was famous for his ninja rolls. We just like roll and roll and roll, and then you don't know where their snouts are, and then they either come out of the blanket somewhere unexpected or they start biting. You just have to know
where the mouth is.
Yeah, you would, but you want to know before that happens.
Well, it takes a special temperament to do what you do, because I think part of why they usually are calm is because you are calm. And do you find that you are really not calm inside but know how to pretend you're calm on the outside, or have you gotten to a place where you are calm when you do your intake?
I'm pretty confident now about it because I've done it so many times, and like if I can handle Hyatt, or like Henrietta was another one that was like so ferocious, but if I can handle that, I mean, I'm pretty confident that I can handle anything. And then like if you do get bitten, it's not really the end of the, I mean, it can be the end of the world, but
yeah, Shelly and John had inspired me to go get a tetanus shot because I can't remember when my last one was, and that could save my life if I get bit.
Yeah.
I was talking about how I got bit in my hand, and Shelly was showing her scars.
Yeah, mine aren't too bad anymore.
Yeah, this guy's all faded.
They're asking if this entire interview will be posted as a standalone video.
I will post it.
And I'm recording it, and at some point we'll post it with lots of other stuff down, hopefully
someday.
Before
like
when I have my free time.
It will be like in 200 years when the zombies have come and gone.
Yes, and I'm like, I'm going to do some editing.
And then someone will find the archives.
And they'll be like, what was going on before the zombies?
Yeah.
So I want to ask John how long ago you started fostering. I know you had a friend who needed your help at one point, and you were like, hey, cats aren't that bad.
Yeah, it was.
Because you're slightly allergic. Yeah, Shelly, are you slightly allergic?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm slightly allergic to certain cats.
Same.
But were you allergic to the first cats that you took care of?
No, I wasn't. I was like, I built up a slight tolerance more being around cats. Some cats will trigger it. I'll go to my volunteer shift and I'm a snotty mess until I leave.
John still volunteers. He fosters
Yeah.
and he goes and volunteers.
And works.
And
And
do
works.
adoptions.
Yeah. He's very upstanding.
Yeah.
He's a contributor to society.
It was also in the early 2000s. A friend of mine lived in an apartment. The cat had kittens, and she asked me if I could take care of them. And so I set them up downstairs in my bathroom, and I can still tell where they like to sharpen their claws. But that got fostering in my blood, and about 5 years later, with that constant itch going, but kittens. You know, I saw thing for Perfect Pals, and I contacted them asking if they were interested in a foster, and that's when I met my kitten dealer, and she got me hooked.
John is the first one to have a kitten cam.
So ongoing kitten cam. There was a few that were just single litter cams. I don't consider them kitten cams really. They were just to get their kittens their own kittens adopted. But,
Yeah.
And then it's like pretty much fairly soon after you started on your Ustream.
Mm-hmm.
Which I never even heard of Ustream until you were already moving to live stream.
You know what the best thing about it was that it was compatible with this Logitech camera that was wireless.
Oh.
Amazing. Like none of this.
That's so sad.
No
I
wires.
don't understand why they don't have
It works so well too.
I'd like to whine about that.
I know.
XSplit can take a wireless cam now.
Oh really?
It can? But what wireless cam?
I don't know. I haven't looked into it.
I mean, it's so frustrating.
That was wacky.
I'm always afraid kittens are gonna like electrocute themselves on the cord.
I just don't like them because I trip over them and stuff.
Well, that too.
The Wi-Fi cams, you also have problems with if your Wi-Fi network gets saturated, if you're capping a fire or foul.
Yes, I was highly allergic to Harlequin. And
she licked you and you just went
Oh.
my nose was running, my eyes were red and puffed up. I was on tons of allergy medication, and she was so affectionate, especially while she was still pregnant, that she would just rub all over my face. And that's how you know I'm a crazy cat lady, because I was like, it's okay.
Yeah.
I'll just take some Benadryl.
Yeah.
Here, I'll just hold this, the tissue on my face.
Yeah, for those asking, Gamora, who was returned for valid reasons, good reasons, was adopted on Sunday. She went home with a family that was interested in her at the beginning, but she came down with the URI and had to go back up to the shelter. They kept in touch with the shelter, and she's home with a family with 3 young kids. They'll keep her. She's a playful cat, and they'll keep her entertained. I am so stoked. I'm very happy, and I was ecstatic to hear that they were willing to wait for her to get better.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great.
We found out we were at the Black Hat Ball live streaming, looking at the auction items, and one of the volunteers, right? She's a volunteer at the
lead volunteer.
Yeah, where Gamora was, told him on the live stream.
Oh.
It's a good thing
He walked away because he got teary.
Oh, that's so awesome. That's
and I
the
was
best.
like, John, crying on cam on live stream
I know.
is good.
Well, I was talking about Fooper and I totally choked up.
Oh, that was horrible too.
Somebody asked Shelly, where did the concept of the mismatched socks come from? I think it's just
It's
easier.
less of a concept than like just laziness.
Grabbing 2 socks out.
Yeah.
I do the same thing, but all my socks look alike.
Yeah, see that's smart. But I am not wearing cat themed socks today, but most of my socks at this point are cat themed that have been submitted by viewers. So
I used to wear mismatched socks when I first started, but then I realized that everything gets dirty really fast, so I just go barefoot with flip flops.
yeah, that's it. I go barefoot a lot, but hi.
Hi,
Good, how are you?
thank you.
Yes.
Yeah,
Someone's at the door.
wearing.
Thank you.
I try not to wear shoes around the kittens because it's hard to feel kittens underneath your feet. Just a package delivery. And
We don't
so
want to step on kittens.
No.
the first time my cam went viral It's like I was watching the cat. I was like, I had like 5, 6 viewers, and then it went to double digits, and I was like, wow, that's like huge. And then it was like 100 and 200, and it kept jumping up. And so I was on cam visiting, and it's like it just hit $1,000. I mean, 1,000 viewers. I was like losing my mind, and I was like carefully walking, put my foot down. The kitten was way over there, and my foot was right here. And that distance, the kitten put a paw right under my foot. Squeaked really loud.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I just went viral, and I stepped on a kitten. Kitten was fine, but.
Was that the People magazine?
Or was it the Mythbusters?
It was Miranda's kittens. It was cute over. It started getting on cute overload, and then Japan found it.
Yeah.
Then it really blew up. And People magazine posted it, describing it as the world's greatest time suck.
Yes.
It has a good sense because you just watch and you don't realize how much time has passed.
Mm-hmm. So fierce.
Okay, Faith is recording.
Okay, we're gonna have plenty of recordings of this.
Yeah.
What's my next question? I got distracted by Aura.
What was your first kitten cam litter, and why?
My first kit, I had a friend out in New York who kept finding kittens in her forest, like you.
Oh, hey.
And she kept posting pictures, and I started fiending for kittens. And I thought, maybe I'm old enough now, I'm mature enough that I could handle volunteering, because I was always afraid, like so many people say, that I would end up bringing all of the kittens home, and that it would ruin me, or I would be so emotionally distraught from seeing the kitties there that it would break me.
Yeah.
And she was posting pictures, and I thought, I think I need to try this. And Best Friends had just opened a shelter out in Los Angeles, and they had a 24/7 kitten nursery, which was rare. Nobody had a 24/7 kitten nursery, because in the city shelters, the first to be euthanized are unweaned kittens, because they don't have the staff to bottle feed. So Best Friends started that nursery, and I thought I could go after work at night and just bottle feed. And I started bottle feeding, and there weren't enough volunteers. And I was going home. I would go there after work and end up staying until 5 in the morning, because I'm like that.
Yeah.
And then I would dream about kittens needing to be bottle feed, and I was having anxiety about them not enough volunteers going and bottle feeding. And then I saw that they had a room with mama's cats and their babies in these smaller cages. And it was to make them feel safer, because, you know, they were in a darker room and all of that. And I thought, I'm never going to sleep again if I keep driving out here every night.
Yeah.
Maybe it's time for me to bring a mama cat and babies home and give it a try. And I had just found John's cam, and I don't know how I found his cam, but I did. And he made it look so easy.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what? I won't end up keeping them, because I'll do a kitten cam.
Yeah.
And they'll get adopted like that.
Yeah.
And it'll be totally easy. I'll get to cuddle kittens, and it'll be great. So I started fostering a mama cat named Fleur and her 2 kittens. And it was adorable. And the Best Friends has the policy of you bring them back to them, and then they find them homes. And so I would never know what ended up with them or anything. And I brought them back. The kittens got adopted immediately. And Fleur ended up staying there in a cage for 2 months while I fostered a second mama cat and kittens. And the whole time I was dying inside me when she was there. And so I switched rescues, and I brought Fleur back and got her adopted. And I was addicted.
That's awesome.
But I think it's important that if you're considering ever fostering, you have to find a rescue that you can work well with. You need to know what their policies are. It's not about being good or bad. It's just about knowing what you're emotionally capable of, and if their policies are going to work with that.
Yeah.
I know foster moms who don't want to. No, they
don't want to find homes. Like I wish that I could just bring them back and not be affected emotionally by letting them go and not knowing where they end up. But it still bothers me that I don't know where those two kittens
Yeah, yeah.
I do know where Fleur is at least.
My first couple litters, I don't, like, 'cause they got adopted through laps, and I don't know anything about, and they didn't do pairs and stuff like that, and so it's, you always wonder.
Right.
Although the flip side of it is knowing where they all went. When stuff goes, you know, when like bad things happen and they get sick and stuff, then we have to take that on.
Yes.
You know, like you now they're like
you can't just
our
pretend you
cats.
don't know.
Yeah, they're ours for life.
They're ours for
Yeah.
life, exactly.
There's fosters of mine that have moved on, and yeah, that's hard to know, but
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, but I'd rather deal with that emotional, you know, turbulence than not knowing.
Yeah, at least we know they had a good life.
yeah,
Right.
Even
yes.
if it was shorter than we hoped.
And the rescue, kitten rescue, the rescue that I foster for has a policy of 2 kittens being adopted together.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Unless there's already a friendly cat in the home and they're indoor only. And I needed that.
Yeah.
I know there are people who think that it's irresponsible of us to want the 2 kittens to go together. I had a single kitten when I was 16 that I adopted. When I look back on it now, I realized that he tortured me for the first couple of years because he had so much pent up energy.
Yeah.
That he would take it out on me when if he had had a playmate,
Yeah.
he would have been so much happier and well adjusted. But especially when you have an indoor kitty, they need a playmate.
Yeah.
Beatrice and Nakia were. It's like I had them in my bedroom for a little while. For one thing, because they still sleep with me, so that's really great. But the whole night long they were zooming all over the place. But since they were chasing each other and wrestling with each other, my feet were mostly scratch free until I wiggle my toe. But it's like I was able to sleep because they were playing with each other.
Mhm.
I love seeing 2 kittens together, and I think that after experiencing that and having my own cats in 2 at a time, I couldn't do a single cat again. So I found a rescue that worked that way. Other people that are comfortable with adopting out single kittens, there are plenty of rescues that do that. You just have to find a rescue that works with what you're capable of handling. It's not about right or wrong, it's just what works.
Yeah, and if they'll take them back, if you're overwhelmed, you need help, you can take that, you know, like they'll work with you, all the stuff that happens.
There are some rescues who will provide all the food and all of the treatments for the fosters. My rescue will provide coverage for the basic medical stuff, but we cover all of our own supplies, hence why we have the Amazon wish lists. And I'm okay with that. That works for me. I have to do all the adoption events. I have to look through the questionnaires,
It's a lot of work.
do the home visits. So it's more work, but I don't have to go crazy at night.
Yeah, you have control over
Yeah.
what happens to the.
You need that control.
I totally need the control. So many people have been watching for so long.
1.7 thousand.
That's a lot.
So what are your plans for the Happy Forest in the future? I know we talked about DNA testing.
Yeah, Gwen's helping with the paperwork for the DNA testing because it's been so long.
What's the goal of the DNA testing?
We want to see if we can figure out the relationships and then some of the diseases that we've encountered. We want to see if there's a hereditary element, and also it would potentially help us target who we need to bring in for certain, like to test for kidney disease or whatever, and just to learn how they interact with each other and how the relationships work.
Different colony touching.
Yeah, how different colonies come in contact with each other.
Yeah, because it's Nano's colony and the Happy Forest that we're doing. So I think it will be super interesting. And also because like we all just want to know who's adopted. We always wonder like, oh, they must be related, but we don't really know. The DNA testing isn't sophisticated enough to tell, like, we have to have the parents in order to identify them as the parents. So there's no way we will get everybody tested, but I think we're up to like 120 or something samples. So we've only gotten the first 50 or 60 of them tested. So we have half of them done. So we're hoping to fill in some of the gaps with the next batch, but we'll see.
Are you leading the way with DNA with feral colonies?
I'm not aware of any other study being done on a feral colony to determine relationships. That doesn't mean there hasn't been one, but I asked at UC Davis and they weren't aware of anything sort of like this. But I think it will be very interesting and helpful. We don't really know yet what all we'll learn, but I think we'll learn something, hopefully.
More information is always good information.
Yeah.
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 And medically, this is a very good controlled feral environment, which is not always easy to do.
Yeah, that's true.
A lot of people I know that do TNR, you can get them to come out and eat a little bit, but you have been able to get your hands on ferals in a way that not a lot of people are capable of doing.
Yeah, and it's not a bad, when we were trying to do the jungle kittens, which we totally we only trapped one cat and he was friendly, but we didn't know where they were living. We only knew that sometimes they came, in their territory, they would come by certain spots to eat, but we didn't know, where they actually, so it was hard to we couldn't catalog anyone, we never saw one in person. We just knew they were there. We knew what we saw on the trail cams, we would see them coming sometimes, but not even every night, so we tried to figure it out, but that was difficult. But the happy forests, they're always there.
It was amazing.
You guys got to meet them?
I got to get down in the dirt with them.
Mm-hmm.
She was literally down in the dirt. There was a spider. When she was hissing outside the trap, when she was hissing, she's like, there's a spider.
There was a spider.
Yeah,
There
everyone was
were
like,
lots of
okay,
spiders.
that's it, cut. And it was like, there's spider now.
So many spiders in the happy forest.
Do all potential adopters get a home interview? I don't think you don't do home visits. Right?
We do interviews, phone interviews and stuff. We check references, and I think we've gotten photos and stuff before, but we don't do home. We have a lot of people that aren't in the super local area, so
Right.
we don't.
We do home visits, but if it's a far enough distance, I will let them do a video of their home for me, and they answer a questionnaire, and then when I deliver the kitties, I could do a quick walkthrough at that point. And it's more, I know some people think it's we're going in and we're judging. It's not that. We go and check the window screens.
Yeah.
The things that you don't think about.
Yeah.
When I started fostering, my foster room, I duct taped everything closed. I was so paranoid. But I let them play with my hair ties.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody ever told me that if they swallowed hair ties, it could kill them.
Yeah.
Or if they swallow a penny, it could kill them.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought to put away my change or all of that. And other fosters had warned me about that, and so I became careful. But then I had an adopter who adopted Charlotte and Dot, who had played with my hair ties, because I didn't know beforehand, had gone, and I warned them about the hair ties when they adopted, and they had forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
She ate 3 hair ties and had to have emergency surgery.
Whoa.
And and I didn't blame them, because they had tried putting them away, but the kittens find them, and they were willing to pay, and they saved her life.
Yeah.
And they have her, and they love her, and I'm grateful. But those are the kind of things when I'm walking through the home, that I know that they just aren't, if they haven't had a kitten ever or in a long time, who thinks about not putting the penny out or hair ties? Who thinks about that stuff?
And even some of the toy parts can be.
Yeah, well, we had what we used to call the Muniverse. That was almost broke the kitten's neck.
Yeah.
We made a video of it on my channel because it was so traumatizing.
Kittens are good. There's a base. If you look on my cam, you can see there's a little arch, but there's also a post that attaches to it. But there's only a gap of an inch between the post and the arch. So if a kitten if they're the right size, they can get stuck and wedged in there. And then the little balls on the long string, if they hit it right, there's one foster mom where it wrapped around the kitten's neck. like a little
I
girl.
never thought
It's
about
terrifying.
that. Yeah, everything with kittens. I always tell people kittens are ninjas,
Yeah.
but they're not smart ninjas.
Right.
So they will get themselves into ninja situations and not know how to get themselves out.
Cats and kittens only think of step one.
That's right. And then having the cams on 24/7, like we have to be prepared literally 24/7 to intervene if something like that happens. Or even a lot of the time, like probably 90% of the time, it's something that's non-threatening, but it looks scary on the camera, and then people start to panic about it, and then everyone, all of a sudden, there's like a huge emergency, and we have it can be very intense at times.
Yeah, I have a little protocol in place. You know, I have jeans sitting right beside the bed. Like in the middle of the night, I have a laptop always on, always listening.
Me too.
And it's like I have stream decks outside the room. If I need to cut the cams off, one button press, and it's like the cams
Yeah.
are off and muted.
That's good. I need
Yeah, I
that.
don't have that. I just go, turn away! That's my line.
I know, when my like butt is in the camera and like my pants are falling down, I'm like, please don't look at my butt.
I'm like,
Dot with the long tape.
it's
Oh,
on you to
yeah.
look away. Oh yeah, Dot got a big worm and it came out of her butt right in front of the camera, and all I could do was say, look away. Just look
Oh,
away. You don't
I
want this
know.
imprinted in your brain.
Close your eyes.
I was like,
I
"Cool."
totally would have wanted to see it though.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
man,
and
yeah.
all of my people were
You
like,
and I
what is that? They
saw the
named,
poop.
our viewers
Yeah.
named what is berry?
Yeah.
Our
tapeworm?
Yeah, the tapeworms and
Oh.
the roundworms are berries.
Berries.
Because they wave.
They do.
Somebody said they thought it was Barry White. I can't remember where we came up with Barry. I love Barry Manilow, so I was like, why wouldn't it have been Barry Manilow? But they said Barry White.
Maybe one's white, one's Manilow.
Maybe.
Very right.
Which one? The tapeworm or the
It's,
roundworm?
Yeah.
They look white, so maybe berry white.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you know.
Yeah. Worms. I never thought I would deal with this much poop and worms. But I blame that on John. Because he made it look, his room looked
Yeah.
clean. You don't get smell-o-vision.
No. Yeah,
I had
that's
no
true.
clue that kitten poop smelled the way it did.
You never hear things you're not supposed to hear. You never
No.
see things you're not supposed to see. It's
I had
like
no
professional.
clue. It didn't even cross my mind that mama cats clean their kittens. I never thought, where does the poop go? Like, it just never crossed my mind. Their kittens are just cute, and you never think about the poop that comes out of them.
Mhm.
And I never thought that fostering kittens without a mama would be any
Oh.
different than with, until I realized that
It's a
mamas
huge difference.
So different.
clean the poop. And when you don't have a mama, you have to clean the poop.
And then it gets all over. They get it on each other, and it's like cement once it dries.
Oh, it's amazing.
And then the food, when they start trying to eat solid
Oh.
food, then you got the food and it's like a constant bath. Well,
Yeah.
like the kinks most recently, and the Canada kittens were both disasters in that area. But.
Yeah, it's like my current mom. She made it so easy that I just have to watch and feed her and scoop her box. And she made it easy enough that I can come up here.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be nice? Occasionally we get that. When I first started doing this, and I wanted a vet to come out and do like wellness exams and stuff, and I was trying to recruit a vet, and Dr. F had just started her practice, and there had been an article in the paper about how she is tech savvy, because they had like social media pages and stuff, and so I wrote a letter and was like explaining how it's really would be no big deal, just like a wellness exam and do some education and like answer questions. And I was like, the worst that we get is like a little bit, we need like an eye drop or something for like an eye infection. And so I sucked her in with that, and then the very next litter was the jungle kittens with the ringworm and lungworms, and they were like dying and like horrible. So that was super bait and switch.
I was so jealous of that. I remember I asked Shelly when I was trying to videotape years ago, how did she do it? And I said, should I stand outside of schools for vets? But they're not always the brightest bulbs. And I've approached vets, and they don't really want to help.
No, it's risky because people criticize you, and if you make the wrong decision,
Yeah.
it's like, well,
Yeah.
not even the wrong decision, but people, are always critical, and they don't have all the facts, and then So it's
the
like
right, but not what they think is the proper.
yeah.
Or the proper, but not,
I mean, we make the best decisions we can, and maybe there are some that we would make differently if we had more information at the time. But we do the best we can with the information we have, and Dr. F's been really great about that. And we've had so many weird challenges, and so, but it's definitely takes a lot.
The fact she even lets you live stream surgery,
I know,
is just amazing.
Yeah,
I can't even do that.
that's like, well, yeah, because nobody wants to get sued. Nobody wants to get, have their colleagues looking and
Judging their work.
Yeah, or potential customers misunderstanding something, or if God forbid something goes wrong, you can't always. I mean, there's risk every time you have surgery. So.
Hello.
She's my.
Can you guys sneeze in my face?
She wants to give you a snot rocket to remember her body.
Yeah. We got here, Chile was like, yeah, she hasn't had any snot rockets, and then she went,
She had a big one. Yep.
Yeah, I'm so in awe of the support team that Shelly has out here with Kim and Gwen and all of her volunteers.
They're awesome.
And Dr. Apt and just the people in the community that support her. I'm totally happily jealous.
Very lucky.
Yeah, Canadians are really nice. People in LA aren't that nice.
And there's so much traffic. It would be hard for people to get to you. Probably.
Yeah, the traffic is, oh god.
Nightmare.
That's what it is. That's why they don't want to help me. They just don't want to drive. I need to find out where the vets live and go move next to them.
Yeah.
Let's see. There are questions. Do you have like a fantasy of being super big? Do you want to expand?
Mm-mm. I'm good at like this stuff, but I'm not good at running. I don't want to run an organization and do like the administrative stuff, because that's all I would end up doing is administrative stuff. And there are lots of shelters and bigger rescues out there, and this is like what we're good at is what we're doing. And so there are things that we will be able to do better once we have a facility again. And so we have lots of exciting plans for that time. But we're still going to stay small so that I can stay involved in like the actual hands-on stuff.
Yay! And you'll have a kitten camp forever.
Forever. In my bedroom, in my everywhere.
It's amazing. It's amazing to me that we are so comfortable with having these kitten camps.
I know.
Everywhere.
I've gotten so, like, you can't have any sort of vanity or, like, ego.
No, we were just talking about that, yes.
Yeah, because I've humiliated myself so many times that, like, I feel like I'm not that concerned about whatever I might do next, because it's there's probably already been worse.
Well, we always say it's about the kittens, it's about the kitties. And I know when I first started, my mom was like, "You're doing what?" And I said, "Don't worry, Mom, I'll put my hair up. I'll make every effort to look totally, like, not attractive whatsoever." Because she thought, you're putting yourself online.
And it's going to be dangerous.
Yeah, and I'm like, nobody's going to be like, "Hey, I need to go hang out with her." But I know for me, running in when the kittens have an emergency.
Yeah.
I always make sure I have clothes on.
Yeah.
But I go in with my hair a mess.
Yeah.
I've stopped trying to look remotely cute. The lighting in my room is horrible. It makes the worst angle of everything on my face stand out. And I just know that I'm kind of grateful for that lesson in humility, because it's just helped me focus on what the primary purpose is.
That's true.
And it's the cuteness of the kittens and saving them.
As long as the kittens are cute.
I'm lucky that my bed head is actually a fashion statement. Because it's like Sarah sent me a picture. You need to get your hair looking like this. And I was like, that's my bed head. And I sent her a picture, and she's like, "Oh my God, that's it."
Well, John's lucky to be a male kitten cam foster, because there's way less criticism of male kitten cam foster appearances.
But I still get a lot, so that just gives you an idea of what the ladies have to deal with.
Yeah, he gets lots of constant attention and compliments.
Love.
And within the first week of starting my camp, I was getting the emails about what I was wearing and where I
Yeah.
was sitting and how inappropriate this was or whatever. And I was like, I'm just going in sweats and sitting down with kittens.
Go ahead
Yeah.
and repeat the email address for the application.
meow@tinykittens.com.
And be descriptive with the email subject.
Yes. Thank you.
My kitten cam is Kitten Cuddle Room.
Or just search for Kitten Cub.
There, they put Broomhilda put a link in there.
So be nice to the lady kitten cameras, people.
Yeah, and you can be like nice to John.
Yeah,
You don't
just
have to be
nice.
Yeah.
Just nice. You don't have to be very nice to me.
Yeah, be very nice to us, but only okay nice to John.
Yeah.
Like he went in, I remember when he went in with shorts for the first time,
Oh, yeah.
his total like ghost white legs, and everybody was like, ooh la la. And me, I went in and I'm like ghost white, and they're like, wow, you're really pale.
You need to get out more.
Yeah, I'm like, I try to go outside for a few minutes every day.
And then there's a kitten cam emergency.
Yeah. And I always said I will never wear shorts on cam.
Yeah.
And then we have heat waves like crazy.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, I don't care anymore. People see the pale, let me blind you.
Even with the lighting in my room, I could have a tan and I would still look white.
Oh, that's a good question. How did you decide that Tiny Kittens was going to be your name?
Oh.
Because I am totally jealous that you picked that name.
It's so misleading now. It's like it's so false advertising.
I saw the logo and I saw the name. I was like, damn.
So easy for people to remember.
Except, yeah. Well, yeah. I don't remember. I think I was just looking for something that had an available URL and like was available on Facebook.
I can't believe that was available.
I know. Well, I think that I had to pay a little bit for the domain name, but it was worth it.
Yeah, it's like with mine. The room that the Fosters are in had a bunny in it, some parakeets. So I caught it. I've been calling it the critter room for a while.
I didn't know that.
And because an ex-girlfriend had a lot of exotic animals, and so it's like I just called it the critter room, and the name just kind of just kept on.
Now I wondered about that. Now I get it.
And I was the one that was like, Sarah's Kitten Cuddle Room. I'm like, then I went, that is so long.
It's long.
Why did I do that? And then I started calling my challenges Kitten Cuddle Room, and there's no other way to shorten it. I can't do Kitten Room. And I can't just do Kitten Cuddle.
Can you do cuddle room?
I can, yeah.
Get on the bears.
I could, but that might attract other
That's a different kind
people.
of cam.
Yes, even if I just did Kitten Room, that might attract the wrong kind of people.
Yeah, that's true.
So I just decided to leave it alone.
It's good.
Yeah, thank you. I see the CCers are changing up, tag teaming.
That's good. Yeah.
Cool off their fingers.
I know.
We
I
all
feel terrible.
feel shame
I'm
about
sorry.
what we put you through.
I know. I'm so sorry. I'm feeling
It's like
regret.
my mods will share their allotment of donut crumbs
Yeah, that's
with
nice.
you guys.
That's so nice.
Sorry, I still need to send them actual donuts.
I know. They deserve a lot of donuts. Real donuts.
Yeah, and where I know Shelly had computer experience, I had no computer experience whatsoever. I was using a really old laptop and a crappy cam. And if it weren't for John's technical abilities and willingness to share information,
Yeah.
there's no way I would have a cam because I couldn't have figured it all out on my own.
She sent me an email asking me questions about it, and I was getting questions all over the place. And so it's like I was famous for like 1 or 2 word answers, and it took like about 2 or 3 emails before collecting that this girl's serious.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, boom, huge books.
Yeah.
of
He's so
information.
helpful.
Yeah, he just thought I was one of those ladies who were like, hey John, I'm interested in fostering. Let's chat.
Let's chat over dinner.
And I was like, I don't care to talk to you. Just tell me what you're using and where you got your page.
Yeah. I don't need
Yeah.
small
Once I
talk.
realized she wasn't interested in me, just in fostering, I was like,
Yeah.
okay. And it's like all the details.
I'm
Yeah.
like, just answer my questions.
And now look at the two of you.
Now we're just the best of friends. I only hit him sometimes. comes over and she blows out the computer for me. The
Oh,
dust blowing
and you
stuff.
get the hair, the fur balls and stuff.
We had a lot of
Canned
dust
hair.
in LA, and it is
Oh.
so horrendous. But she cleans out the computer. She put in extra memory. I think it was memory,
Oh, that's
right?
nice.
And does all of that because my computer is super old. And she cleans and she carries, the most valuable thing is she carries heavy things up my stairs.
Oh, that's
Because
so
I have a
nice.
steep driveway and I have a lot of stairs, and she's super strong.
And there's so many heavy things. The litter
So
is
many
not
things.
never ending. And the food.
Yeah.
And Amazon leaves it at the bottom of the
Oh,
stairs.
yeah.
My son helps with that too. I got a bum arm. I only can lift 25 pounds with my left arm. So no threshold, sorry. And so he helps lug around stuff too for me.
That's nice. I need a minion.
You have helpers.
I know, that's true.
You
I
just
do.
find Gwen cleans the
Gwen is so awesome. I know Gwen is the reason that my house is, this part of my house is
Oh my
livable.
god, Denise, you would die if you saw how clean our house is.
It's,
Poor
Yeah.
Denise has to deal with my messiness.
I just have one area, because after when we moved it from over there, everything in here, I was like, I need one area that's like, not just like boxes and tunnels through boxes and cats
I
and cat
want
food.
that so bad.
Yeah, it's nice,
It is so
but it's hard to accomplish and maintain.
so hard. But you have the Roomba. That
Yeah,
helps,
but you have
right?
to pick up for the Roomba, or else she will eat all the toys.
That's why I have not gotten one, because
Yeah.
I just think it would get killed within a week.
I Roomba'd. Princess Consuela's not so sure about the Roomba, but Aura just follows it around.
When I get my hardwood floors in, I can just see myself getting one of those huge brooms
Yeah.
like you see at the schools.
Yeah.
2 passes and it's done.
Well, I use a dust mop, which is life-saving for me.
Oh, a dust mop.
Because my cats hate the vacuum, and I still use
Oh, it died.
Oh.
No,
That's
camcorder.
okay.
That's fine. We got a lot of questions for you.
Well,
Yeah.
and you're recording, so
I
we're
think,
all
yeah,
set.
I think they're running out of questions anyway.
But I know that with the vacuum, my cats freak out, and it's kind of jolting for me, frankly.
Yeah.
Turning on the vacuum, I'm like, I just want something mellow. And the dust mop, I learned when I was a kid at Victorian homes, they use dust mops, and then you take them outside and you shake them out.
Yeah.
So you can do that in like 2 minutes. You can dust mop your entire living room and then shake it outside and pretend that your floor is clean.
Oh.
And so
That's
for
a
a
good
quickie, it's pretty amazing. I spray it with a little water and vinegar and
Oh, that's a good tip.
yeah, I try. And then Denise comes over and then cleans what I don't.
Yeah.
There's
Which
a
is a
real
lot.
cleaning.
But it gets dirty so fast, especially, I mean, when you have so many of them, it's like impossible. So it's a full-time job.
I swear I clean the floor and I walk away for 5 minutes and come back and there's fur all over the floor again.
Yeah.
I
Or
don't get
poop
it.
tracks.
Yeah, or I have like pee splat, butt mops, pee splat. And then Mason, after he gets his syringe feeding, he shakes. He shakes while he's running through the house, so there's like
Food
food
splattered
everywhere, like all over the railings, like the stair railings and the walls and the furniture. It's everywhere.
I still find splattered snot and food on walls
Yeah.
behind beds and from treating
Snot rockets.
kitties.
Aura had the whole floor covered in snot rockets, which I'm trying to I'm trying to clean them.
Once they dry, they are so hard to clean
So
up.
hard.
Snot just glues itself onto things.
Here's a question. What are the risks involved for resident cats when you work with feral cats?
Oh, I put my cats at risk all the time. They're vaccinated, but actually my cats are, they have needle reactions, so we don't vaccinate them like with injections. But so it's actually probably okay for them to be exposed to the other cats that come in because it's giving them a little bit of a boost. That's what we hope anyway. We've had lots of discussions about this, but yeah, every time you bring another cat in, you're putting your cats at risk. So we try to keep them separated until we know what the health is. But eventually, like for their socialization, it's often like Princess Consuela would be so unhappy in a room by herself. So
Right.
like she has to. I mean, she's out with everyone. She's so much happier. So it's not fair. You just have to balance the emotional needs with the medical needs and try to minimize risk and maximize benefit. And
It's pretty much the same for just a regular foster parent. If I bring in feral or not ferals, just bring in mama cats and their kittens, they could be carrying something we don't know about yet. And so it's like I keep my cats separated from my fosters until they are all vaccinated.
Yeah.
My cats are vaccinated, but the fosters need to be vaccinated for as well.
For their protection.
Yeah, because my cats are getting old too. So.
Yeah, we always the kitten rescue does a 2-week isolation period, and then they can be mixed with other kittens after they're tested for FIV and FELV. But we got I think you had a little here of hello, Pan Luke. Have you had Pan Luke here?
No, thank God. I'm dreading the day that happens.
Which is also called distemper. In Los Angeles, it is constant battle. And that is the big fear.
Yeah.
You know, when I first started, I was afraid of ringworm, and then I saw you and Sophia Lorange deal with ringworm, and I was like, okay, it might like kill me exhaustion-wise, but kitties survive ringworm.
Yeah.
It's just a fungus. But then I got to experience seeing distemper come through, and it is horrifying. And there's no vaccination for little baby kittens, to protect them from that stuff.
And then your environment too is so contaminated.
It's so easily contaminated. And at the rescues, there's only so much they can do when they, the intake, they don't get to isolate for 10,
No.
So a lot of the city shelters just mix in these kitties and then they pass around the disease, and then us rescues come in and bring them into our rescues.
Yeah.
So Kitten Rescue has an ISO room where the kittens and even the kittens with mamas will start out in for 10 days, and then they can move into the next room unless they can go into a foster home. And we just do the best we can.
Yeah.
But it's traumatizing seeing that stuff happen.
Yeah, when somebody surrenders like mama cat and kittens, or somebody dumps them, like Perfect Palace does not keep them on site. They have an exam room where they examine it, where they can easily clean. They examine them and then immediately put them out to a foster home, just in case something like that happens.
That's why it's so difficult for me right now, because I would love to have kittens, but because Nala already has sensitive lungs, I can't take the chance of bringing in other fosters and then passing something on to her. So what I've tried to do in the meantime is like kitten sit for other fosters and bring in fully healthy kittens, except for when we think they're healthy and then they die of FIP.
Yeah. I remember that. That's the worst.
As we know. And again, I am so grateful for the support I have through the cams and with Shelly and John, because watching a kitty die of FIP,
horrible.
Oh my God.
Yeah, these two have I probably would not be fostering still if it wasn't for these two. So
we go through some hard times.
We keep each other sane.
Yep. At like 3 a.m. when we're like weeping.
We're on
so
cam,
tired.
We're like calm and collected, and on the phone we're effort.
There are a lot of expletives.
Lots of fun, creative words.
Yeah, it helps sometimes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think
there's
the level of stress that comes with doing this. It's so rewarding in so many ways, but it's also exhausting. I've aged quite a bit in the last 6 years, and my sleep, I don't even remember when I used to sleep normally. Poor Shelly. I remember Shelly used to go to bed at a decent hour, and John and I would be like, how does she do it? And then suddenly it would be 3 a.m. and Shelly was awake with us chatting. Yeah. And we're like, she came to the dark side.
Yeah, if you see the room lights go off out there, that's totally fake.
You can't judge by that what's happening.
John and I always reminisce about the days when we were like, 1:30 is way too late for us to be going to bed. Go back to midnight.
1 a.m. is like, I can't believe I'm still awake. And now that 1 a.m. is 4 a.m.
Yeah.
But then Shelly gets up and goes out to the forest and does all this stuff, and I'm always like, how
do you get up and go to work? Yeah,
but that's why I get to work from home a lot, luckily. Yeah. I don't know how people do it that have to go to an office 20
Oh, I know.
every day.
Well, you couldn't do it with
that,
it.
yeah.
I mean, it would be so hard with a camp because what if something went wrong?
That's what's great having a kid too. It's like when I worked in the office 5 days a week, I had my phone sitting there, so I could keep an eye on him. And if my son works a late shift, I can call him real quick if there's any issues, or to get in the car and drive home real fast.
Essential.
I've gotten to know my neighbors who are cat lovers, so that's helpful. My father can't do anything, so I have emergency. I did have my cam viewer Anne, when she lived in LA, ran home to my house. She had never, I don't think she had ever been there yet. She might have come after that. I had met her maybe once or twice, so I was taking a chance. But she was willing to drive from across the city to go rescue one of my kittens from being stuck under the dresser.
Oh.
And I was able to get an extra key to her, and
wow.
she drove to my house. And I watched on cam from my client's office as she went into the room. And I was like, I just and my house was a mess.
Yeah.
And I had to put that ego aside and be like, go for it. Thank you. Thank you for saving the kitten.
Right. Yep. Totally.
And the reason why I can be here this weekend is because Denise was willing to go cat sit for me.
Give me a bunny.
Yep. It's essential to have people that can give you a break sometimes. Because people don't understand how 24/7, like 24/7 is literally 24. Like most people work 5 days a week and have 2 days a week off. We don't ever have a day off.
I have a full-time job. She has a full-time job. This is a full-time job for you.
This is my full-time job.
And then fostering on that.
Now, how do you do it when you're doing things like tube feeding Aura? How do you keep yourself from not falling apart and getting ill and dying?
I know. I don't know. Gwen helps. Like the volunteers, the snugglers help.
Do you take shifts in the middle of the night or?
Gwen, like with Aura, I had a few events that I had to go to that I couldn't get, and so she came and did those shifts. And she, I went on my first vacation in 4 years in April. And so Gwen was here, sleeping over and making sure everything was good. So. But it's hard when you have them in your house. It's hard to have people, come and do the night shift while you're sleeping.
Right.
That's kind of.
It's hard. That's people say, "I'll come over and help you," and I'm like, I don't want people in my house.
Yeah.
But I want people in my house.
I know.
And it took me a long time to be okay having Denise come to my house and help clean. It was humbling for me.
Yeah. And then especially if you're sleeping and then someone's working really hard, I'm just that's.
There have been times where I have been exhausted and just beat up, and I would be laying on the couch while Denise was cleaning the kitten room.
Yeah.
And I had to trust that she wasn't sitting there going, she's so lazy.
Yeah.
But that she knew I just needed to lay there because I was exhausted.
Yeah.
And
Gwen did that for me
when that way.
Yeah, you have to have at least one person like that who you can, and Suzanne has come and I know that there are more people who would come, but Gwen came when Eveline's kittens were dying and she did a night shift. She has done that, but it's
Well, and when you had the jungle kittens and the ringworm was such a nightmare.
Oh yeah.
And that's how you met Kimmy, right?
Yeah.
And a bunch of you had volunteers who were and you got sick.
Yeah.
And they were we're coming over.
Yeah.
And you were so sick, you were okay.
I know. I finally was broken down enough that I had needed the help.
We've been broken into submission.
That's what. Yeah. You get better at accepting help.
And I have a kid too, so.
Oh yeah.
Well, with the jungle kittens, that was how many of them were there?
There were 10.
And every single one of them had ringworm, right?
Oh yeah, and upper they needed to be syringe fed, and they had just a multitude and then we had to split them up at one point because we thought some were going to clear faster than the others, and there were 2 rooms that at that point I was disinfecting every day and bathing them every other day or something. It was ridiculous.
And for people that don't know about ringworm, disinfecting is a crazy process. You had to change your clothes and cover up.
Yeah, we had to do because there are millions of spores and they come out, and yeah, you have to have a contact time of 10 minutes with bleach. So like you think you're cleaning, but if it dries before 10 minutes, the spores can survive that. So like going in and out of the room, and there's carpet on the other side of the room, and so the carpet, I mean, it's just like it's a huge nightmare. But
you can't see him, but Mason's like just on the other side of Aurora. But now you can see him.
That's more fun.
Mr. Man.
He probably wants his chair back.
He wants, this is what he wants.
He wants to play.
Yeah. He also likes the butterfly.
But for those who don't know about ringworm, it is not a worm, it's a fungus. It's totally treatable. It's just overwhelming and exhausting to do the treatment.
And takes like 6 or 7 weeks.
Yeah. And a lot of people make it out to be this like horrendous disease type thing, and it's just the handling of it is horrendous. But it's not going to kill your kitty or you. It's just a little fungus.
But it's zoonotic, anyone who's like a human who's immunocompromised, or a kid, or like it can spread to dogs and cats, and
which is kind of inconvenient.
so that's why we're so careful. Like we have to follow the protocol so carefully.
We're very careful about that. But kitties that have had ringworm are still worth fighting for and adopting. And
Totally.
they can be treated and not have ringworm anymore.
Totally. And then live, like, you never know that they ever had it. Like, they recover 100%. Oh, he's so excited right now.
See, I think you have a lot of viewers who weren't even watching when you had the Jumbo kittens.
No, that was a long time ago. That was like 5 years ago, I think.
That's when you really just...
I know.
Everybody was just entranced with what you were doing, because they were not only stunning kittens, but I'd never seen anything like that. And then after you, all of these other fosters started getting kittens with ringworm, and we were like, ask Shelly!
I remember I wrote it up what we did and put it on the internet, but then I feel like it's probably changed. Like we've learned a lot even since then.
Well, isn't there a foam now?
I don't know. A foam?
There's a foam that you can use instead of the dipping.
Oh.
That makes it easier to put on.
Oh.
And not have to like.
Sulfur.
Yeah.
The LSD.
Your cam is pretty boring right now.
Butterfly cam.
Mason move.
There's Consuela and Aura cam.
But how lucky were you to have the ringworm? Otherwise, you might have never met Casey.
I know. I might have never forced her to adopt a cat with leukemia, who lived for 3 glorious years.
Oh, that was so sad.
I know, but she lives on in our hearts.
Yes. And I know for me, if I hadn't have had a group of tabbies without, or not just tabbies, but a group of kittens without a mama who had diarrhea and were sick and getting poop all over everything, that I wouldn't have had Denise come over and had submitted to having her help me because I was overwhelmed with poop.
Well, things happen.
The poop broke me.
Yeah, the poop is overwhelming.
Yeah. But one of the things I learned, at first I was like, yeah, this is, it's fun and all that. I didn't mention the poop, and then new foster moms like, you didn't tell me about the poop. Well, it's like, I didn't think you wanted to talk about poop. But now I'm like, everybody needs to know about the poop.
Yeah, you've got to know about the poop.
You can't foster without knowing about the poop.
Yeah, the reason why we give like poop reports and stuff like that, because we get a good initial view into their health by the quality and the condition and the color and all that kind of texture of their poop.
It's like diamonds, the 4 C's.
Yes. The president of the rescue I foster for always jokes about the fact that he's constantly getting pictures of poop texted to him from fosters.
Mm-hmm.
And John has a poop chart that he sent out. He didn't make himself, but he had found a poop chart that he has shared with many people, which was actually helpful because when I started fostering, I thought my kittens were always going to die of something horrible.
Yeah.
And their poop was so horrifying that I needed to know whether it was normal or not.
Yeah. It's yeah, it's a good indication of trouble or smooth sailing. The poop.
Yep, I'm John. Foster dad John of Kitten
Of the Critter Room.
Yeah.
And I'm Sarah from Kitten Cuddle Room.
Now, if you,
And that's Shelly,
yeah.
Cassidy's slave.
The cats are all gone because she's open the can.
She's eating them.
My little mini pup needs to refuel, I think.
Here's a pro tip for you guys. If you have a fairly sizable monitor, if you use Chrome and use gaming mode, you can size the window so you can have 4 cams up on one monitor.
Oh,
That's how I watch cams.
that's cool.
Oh wow, lots of food.
Snacks.
Puff Puffs isn't crazy about people.
Yeah, Puff teleports somewhere safe.
Hide a puff.
Yeah,
We
when
got a
people come over.
drive-by sighting, and that was good. He was like, I do not need to be in here.
Yeah, he's hiding probably under my bed right now. He has 2 places that he teleports to when he senses danger.
As soon as he heard man voice, he was boom.
Out of here. Although now he has just started to accept Gwen in his life as an acceptable, like he can be in the same room with her. Suzanne, he's not quite sure about. That's it though.
Which is just fascinating to me since he has been handled by people.
I know
From
he
the
got so
gate.
much, but he's just got that instinctive. He's just not
just
a
wants
brave
you.
cat. He does. He loves me.
Well, as he should.
He
I mean,
should.
from the gate. Anybody who missed watching when Shelly first got Cassidy, you have to go look at old video footage because it was the sweetest thing in the world watching this little broken kitten looking up at Shelly like, I love you,
And now he shows his love by peeing
and mopping your face.
butt mopping my face. It's okay.
When he was a kitten, how he would get up balance on his front legs and walk
yeah.
around. I was hoping he'd do that the rest of his life.
He actually does that. He's longer now though, so it's not quite as like he was so little then, and his head was so big. But now he's longer, and he still does it though sometimes.
Well, that was a question somebody wanted me to ask about Cassidy. Are the prosthetics out of the picture now?
Well, we're sort of following up with we're reinvestigating to see if anyone would be willing or able to look into that again because
Why
just
am I the only one on the camera?
you're doing such a good job.
No!
Well, you put me
And
in
the
there.
angle is so not flattering.
That's true. Let's put it up here.
You never come from low up. It's always high
Okay,
down.
this is better. There. Oh, look how beautiful you are now.
Alright, so there's still a little vanity involved. Okay, so you were looking into somebody being willing to...
Yeah, so we're sort of looking into it again just because his hips are sort of deteriorating,
Aw.
and the next, like the usual next step is a surgery called hip excision where they actually cut the ball off. Like John's on it too.
Like neutering, but for the hip.
Yeah, they cut so it's just sort of free floating, and in a normal animal, like the joint would become stabilized by scar tissue and muscle and all that stuff. But in him, he doesn't like they would just sort of be, I don't know. It's a salvage procedure, so to me, it's like an option of last resort. So I want to look into every other possible option before we would do it. He's not at that point yet, but he at some point will be. So
Yeah, check out Aura eating. She wasn't able to eat this way before her surgery.
I know she is really able to go to town. Like she would eat, and then it would come right out her nose. And she couldn't eat canned food at all. She was eating only kibble. So she's doing pretty well.
Now, with Aura, she's gonna, because of her sinus issues, is she still on antibiotics, or is she through that?
No, actually, this is the first time in her life. What day was this? Thursday. So I think this is her last day of her. She got an antibiotic injection after her surgery, which is good for 14 days. And so she's just entering her first antibiotic-free period since, like, she has been on antibiotics since she was 9 days old. And then we tried to go off twice, and she made it 2 or 3 days off antibiotics before she got really sick again. So this will be her first time without antibiotics, which is, so we'll see how it goes. I'm hoping that she had, both of her eardrums are ruptured, so we need those to heal, and then we need to have no infection, and so hopefully we'll see how it goes.
Look at her go.
Yes, she's a champ. So anyway, so thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Mhm.
Yes.
And sorry about the pranking.
We're not sorry.
I know. We'll see what the video reveals. The backup video reveals. Maybe you'll get to see the actual.
Us rolling around and trying to figure
But
it out.
I was trying so hard not to, and then I was just trying to tilt my head, but I couldn't do it. I could only hold on for so.
So
I was
poker.
trying to find your
So
tail.
we should play poker then. Huh?
Yeah, I would think it would be terrible.
Yeah, you lost it when you were trying to find your
I
tail.
know. I was like because I was trying to reach where I couldn't know which way it was pointing, and then I was like swishing your face, and then I was picturing like testicles. It was the whole thing.
Yeah, it's like
In
it
my head, like-
started out that I was going to be underneath the towel, and it's like, and how I would do the keyword to announce it. It's like, let me see if it's a boy or a girl. Hey!
But
Watch your
Shelley
hands.
deserves an award for her acting
Oh.
skills
Yeah.
in the forest, in the drop, the trap. I thought it was completely believable that she had just trapped a cat.
Thank you. It was very good. Very
We
good.
positioned the camera so that the barrel and a
Yeah.
chair was hiding Sarah.
John, like, it was he was like a director and made sure that like it was precision. It was really planned.
The knocking over of the cam was intentional. It was lovely.
I know that was a plan. It was all planned out.
I
So.
just remember seeing all the ones where you trapped us on the camera.
Right.
Yeah, because the cam always falls over.
We wanted to add a little bit of authenticity.
Yes.
It was, yeah, you guys couldn't have thought it was perfect. Because that doesn't happen. So,
So I hope you took it in the spirit of which it was meant. We just wanted to have a little fun and entertain Shelley and entertain all of you. And I wanted to come out here and see her after years and grill her with some questions and have a good time. So
Yeah.
we hope you enjoyed it.
look at her, she's still stuffing her little face.
You know, it's so amazing.
She's such a big girl. So, all right, well, so I'm going to, we're going to turn the sound back off so that you don't hear us, like,
Right.
tripping over things and whatever.
But watch the trap video again and
Oh,
listen
yeah.
for the hiss.
Yeah, listen for the tiny hiss, and I'll try to post this on the internet right now. Okay, so thank you guys.